Rock Islands Southern Lagoon in Koror Island, Palau. Rock Island's Southern Lagoon covers 100,200 hectares and includes 445 uninhabited limestone islands of volcanic origin. Many of them display unique mushroom-like shapes in turquoise lagoons surrounded by coral reefs. The aesthetic beauty of the site is heightened by a complex reef system featuring over 385 coral species and different types of habitat. They sustain a large diversity of plants, birds, and marine life including dugong and at least 13 shark species. The site harbors the highest concentration of marine lakes anywhere, isolated bodies of seawater separated from the ocean by land barriers. They are among the island's distinctive features and sustain high endemism of populations which continue to yield new species discoveries. The remains of stonework villages, as well as burial sites and rock art, bear testimony to the organization of small island communities over some 3 millennia. The abandonment of the villages in the 17th and 18th centuries illustrates the consequences of climate change, population growth, and subsistence behavior on a society living in a marginal marine environment. The Rock Island's Southern Lagoon consists of numerous large and small forested limestone islands, scattered within a marine lagoon protected by a barrier reef. The property lies within Koror State, immediately to the south of Palau's main volcanic island Babel Daob in the western Pacific Ocean. The marine site covers 100,200 hectares and is characterized by coral reefs and a diversity of other marine habitats, as well as 445 coralline limestone islands uplifted due to volcanism and shaped over time by weather, wind, and vegetation. This has created an extremely high habitat complexity, including the highest concentration of marine lakes in the world, which continue to yield new species discoveries. The terrestrial environment is lush and at the same time harsh, supporting numerous endemic and endangered species. Although presently uninhabited, the islands were once home to Palauan settlements, and Palauans continue to use the area and its resources for cultural and recreational purposes. This is regulated through a traditional governance system that remains an important part of national identity. The islands contain a significant set of cultural remains relating to an occupation over some 5,000 years that ended in abandonment. Archaeological remains and rock art sites are found in 2 island clusters, Yulong and Negmalis, and on 3 islands, Enjuruk Jinjas, and Chamidokal. Remains of former human occupation in caves, including rock art and burials, testifies to seasonal human occupation and use of the marine ecosystem, dating back to 3100 BP and extending over some 2,500 years. Permanent stone villages on a few islands, some dating back to between 950 and 500 BP, were occupied for several centuries before being abandoned in the 17th to 18th centuries, when the population moved to larger islands. The villages include the remains of defensive walls, terraces and house platforms. The settlements reflect distinctive responses to their local environment, and their abandonment demonstrates the consequences of population growth and climate change impacting on subsistence in a marginal environment. The descendants of the people who moved from the Rock Islands to the main islands of Palau identify with their ancestral islands through oral traditions that record in legends, myths, dances, and proverbs, and traditional place names the land and seascape of their former homes. The abandoned islands now provide an exceptional illustration of the way of life of small island communities over more than 3 millennia and their dependence on marine resources. They also are seen as ancestral realms by the descendants of those who migrated to the main island of Palau, and this link is kept alive through oral traditions. Like us and join us at Extreme Collections for more fun and knowledge.